So, 5 words about the future. I hate to say this, but I'm not even sure that we have a future as humanity. If you had asked me 10 years ago, I would probably not have been this pessimistic, but lately I have become increasingly more pessimistic, and uh, not just for the particular culture that I am from, which is Turkey, but for the world at large. Um, and a lot of my concern has to do with climate change, which of course could be perceived to be a cliche because so many people talk about it and are pessimistic about it. But I really do think that there's a huge amount to be concerned about there. And I also think that what is very, very disconcerting is that uh, we human beings, in our arrogance, are thinking that we can develop more technologies to actually overcome this. So I'm also very, very concerned about this whole thing called climate engineering, with which they are ostensibly trying to lower the heat or the temperature of the planet, and which doesn't seem to be working very much, but is creating a lot of harm while they are trying to do it, because they are using nanoparticles of aluminum apparently to refract sunlight, and all of that aluminum, of course, gets rained down on the earth. So no, I'm not very hopeful. Which and I'm not very hopeful that technology is going to help us with any of this either. I mean, the only way that I think it could be well, I don't think there's a remedy, but I don't think that we are at a point where we can stop global warming. We could potentially slow it down, but in order to slow that down, we would need to have a drastic change in economic models and consumer behavior and things like that. And I don't see that happening either, which brings me to my second point of why I'm quite hopeless for the future, and that has to do with politics and how not just this country or that country, but the whole world seems to be owned by corporations, um, and how they are running roughshod over humanity. Uh, the discrepancy of income. So I have been watching a lot of true alternative U.S. media, because when you watch the mainstream media, I mean U.S. media, Turkish media, European media, I don't think it makes a difference. I mean, I think all of it is controlled by corporations anyway, so you don't really get opposition. But when you watch it on the internet, and then you start to hear about all of these economic data, like for example in the United States, 5% of the population owns 85% of the wealth and things like that, or 80%, I think, rather. So we seem to be entrenched in a economic political system which is perpetuating harm like climate change. So that's really basically pretty much what I have to say.